Welcome back. This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
For more fun and shenanigans and just straight up belligerence today.
Yeah. Last week's episode was like low energy.
Yeah.
This is manic energy.
Yes.
I've pushed myself beyond tired to manic.
Yep. And I don't feel good.
Neither of us do.
So we've hit the point of like being totally off the wall.
Yeah. And you get to watch or listen.
It'll be fun.
Where can they find us, though?
They can find us on most podcast platforms, aside from Apple.
Right. No Apple.
Never Apple. You can also find us on YouTube if you want to watch the shenanigans. We are siblings, so there's a lot of play off of one another. It gets a little silly, but join us. It's fun.
And we have a TikTok where we put funny stuff.
Yep.
And Discord where you can join and vent and just be belligerent and have support.
Yes. Full of lovely people
They
who
are amazing.
Are just the best. We like them a lot. We're collecting them, so come join our collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this is your first time joining us, excuse me, goodness. I'm having like it's a spasm.
Oh no.
But it's like pulling from the middle of my chest. Oh. Ow, sorry friends. That was not pleasant. Ugh. Okay. All right. There we go. This is your first time joining us. We're chronically ill and a little mentally ill and all of the other ill.
I'm pretty ill.
The spirit. I'm so ill. No. But we get a little bit silly over here with our dark humor. And we talk about anything and everything we come across.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about today?
Fatigue.
Fatigue.
And not your mama's, oh, I'm tired fatigue. We're talking chronically ill, no energy, can't move fatigue.
Yep.
The real stuff.
Like the universe is laying on top of me.
Yeah, that's really apt. I like that.
I always used to say it's like trying to swim through molasses to reach consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even when you are conscious, it's horrible. It's not fun at all.
Right.
Because there's like different kinds. But we'll get into it. Should we do a little recap?
Yeah. Well, because the release times is still a week, so.
Oh, good. Okay. So that makes it time for the weekly recap.
Check in.
Indeed.
You want me to go?
Let me go first because I don't remember things and maybe you can fill in the gaps.
Okay.
We'll start from like now and what I'm noticing currently. So I was just telling Chris, and if you've been following, you know that this has been a problem, and I think in the same foot.
No, mine's my right foot.
Okay. My left big toe has it started with a tingle underneath my nail. And now the bottom of it and like the sides on the top are going numb. So that's cool and fun. I like that. Awesome.
She says that because I have the same thing on my right foot, except it's my entire foot now.
Yep. But it started with the toe, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Which could be just small fiber neuropathy, could be something else. Who knows at this point? We don't really have any concept. The spasms have been bad.
Yeah.
Like bad. So I had one take me down at work before. And I don't know when we've recapped most recently from. So we'll just fill in there. But now I've got I've had a couple episodes of 8, 9 level pain where it's just squeezing everywhere and horrible spasming and writhing. It looks like I'm a very enthusiastic interpretive dancer sometimes. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and my hands don't work and I can't hold things or use things or do anything because the hands are just throw it, throw the hand.
EDSers know.
Throw the hand. It's
when
great.
you know.
Awesome. Yes. What else?
We had our first episode of the Mini Voices series.
Oh yes.
It's technically the first one shot in the format.
Yeah.
And then I put in the other interviews, but we're going to do our interviews separately that come up on Wednesdays when we do them.
Yep. And
then we'll have normal episodes on Saturday still, so.
Yes. And we're also working on some other stuff for TikTok and for a different playlist altogether, which will be really cool.
Yeah. Well, here, I want to say,
tell them what it is.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a terminology, fun facts kind of short bit just to explain things so that I can like annotate it and send it you guys to it. So if you're new and you don't know what like PTSD stands for, or POTS, or you know, anything like that, we'll have a short clip that'll explain it.
Yep.
And then you can come back. So
we'll go kind of definition and then what it actually feels like.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for those. That'll be really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Oh, I'm on leave from work until Thursday.
You go back Thursday?
I go back Thursday. Yep.
Okay.
Wow. Yep. But then we have a long weekend coming up, so that's
3
good.
day?
Yeah. Which will be good because it's the fatigue, man. I'm dying.
Yeah.
Fatigue and POTS and the spasms have been really bad.
The fatigue has been so insane lately.
Yeah.
Even Crystal was saying, like, it's insanity. Like, if it's like a matter of air, like not having enough oxygen, or
I don't know.
Just the pressure changes are wiping us out.
Yeah. Oh, well, and I had to get, I've had 3 bags of fluid in the last like 2.5 weeks because I just can't.
IV
and then
fluids.
And then I get to a point where I'm like, being alive is nauseating to the max. Like sitting up, I start shaking and sweating because I just feel so sick.
Yeah. That happened to me yesterday. Yeah. Like I got up to come down here to start editing, and then I was like, oh God, I'm going to throw up. Oh, I'm sweating. I'm in pain. Like,
yep. Well, and then there's that like weird battle between like, I'm going to throw up and I'm going to pass out. And you're like, please God, can we do it in that order? Like throw up first, then pass out, because anything aside from that is unacceptable.
True.
But you're like praying to all the powers that be. You're like, please just pick one. Like I can throw up or I could pass out, not both. Thank you. But yeah, it's been fun. What else? I think that's
pretty much it.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. And if there was something crazy, you'll hear it in the other ones because, hi, I have EDS and brain fog, and I can't remember yesterday.
Oh, that's what we should do second half is brain fog.
Oh, yeah.
That goes well with the fatigue. Anyways, my turn.
Yes.
I saw Anna.
Yep.
Which was really good. She likes the podcast. Hi.
She really liked the podcast.
According to Jen. No, I can't take compliments is the problem. So like, you know.
Neither of us can. We're
don't
both
be nice.
Like, shh, don't. Shh.
Oh, she's so
Don't
delightful.
nice.
We're gonna have her on. I'm gonna fight for that.
I know. Well, she said she wanted to be on, yeah.
Yeah. I'm worried that what she thought we were was different. Like in her head, she was like, oh, it's like a sit down, kind of like more formal podcast.
Yeah.
But we're just kind of lazing about.
Right. Well, but everybody we've ever had on has left going, that was so much fun. And I'm so glad I did it.
That's true.
So I'm not really concerned.
Yeah.
It's just the getting them on. That's the thing.
Very true. We did our shorts. The shorts got ruined because we recorded backwards.
Yes.
We turned off the camera for the bits we were recording and turned it on for the in-between.
Oops.
It happens. We tried like 17 new things though.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot.
Yes. Because, well, and that's the thing. Like there's a few different ways of thinking that go on in all of it. And like you and I have a really nice balance of like, we know where the other person is going.
Yeah.
And so it's easy for us to like shove it back and forth and be like, but what about this? But what about this? But what about this?
Right.
And so we can try a lot of different things in a really short amount of time to like find what works.
Yeah.
And our producer has been a great help.
He's like a godsend.
Right? To like organize things because I'm not at all organized, guys. Like I literally, my whole life is vibes based. I'm like, there's no predicting what I'm going to do or say or want next unless he's predicting it because we're on the same wavelength all the time. But you at least are a little more organized.
Yeah, I think it's the mania.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, like I need things to be in order. Like maybe a little OCD-ish, but like
because I don't know, like someone says like structure, and I'm like,
right,
no,
yeah. Jen's the same way.
I don't want to do professional.
Jen has
things.
Piles.
Yes.
And you don't mess with the piles.
That's how I live my life.
Right.
It's piles.
Don't fuck with the piles.
They work. I know where everything is. Okay.
Yeah.
Shh.
All that to say that we have these shorts that are going to be cool.
Yes.
And we ruined our first step, but we learned.
Yeah.
And that we appreciate our producer now.
Indeed. He's been absolutely wonderful.
Yes, and because of him, we have a lot of things actually moving forward.
Yeah.
We're going to make some changes to our Discord. We're going to start a Patreon, which is hard for us to do because we really don't want to.
I know. It's so weird because it's still that like imposter syndrome piece where you're
totally.
like, I can't take money from you. And then our producer's like, excuse me, people want to give you money. And I'm like, yeah, but I made them do that because I'm a fraud.
Right.
I tricked them, but now you can't give me money.
The funny part about that, right? Like you feel like a fraud, like you're lying to them, but then at the same time you're like, this is the realest I am is when I'm on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. But like the fact that you like it and also want to give back to it, that's weird. I don't deserve that. Weird. Stop it. But also we're going to move forward with it because
if nothing happens, nothing happens.
Well, and eventually, like, I would love for this to be sustainable in a way that I could cut back my working hours.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that again, like, in the topic, because fatigue is killer.
Yes.
It is absolutely killer. So, yeah. Eventually, I'm hoping that we can move forward far enough that I can work a little less.
Yeah.
Be nice.
That's kind of what I want to. Not for me.
But then we could work on this.
Exactly.
And then we'd have more time
it's our baby.
to do more things. Because it is our baby. But we just have to, like, not self-sabotage when change comes around. Because that's my big, like, okay, calm down. Don't burn it down because it's changing. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
Which is why it's perfect to have Randy, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he knows how you function.
Right.
So he's picking up on it. Like, if we had someone completely... like from either side, like if it was someone from your friend group specifically that came in, I would be on edge all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if it was someone that I knew, I'm sure you would too, just because you don't want to like.
Right. You don't want to surrender like the little controls.
Or be like a problem at the same time.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of how I felt when we started doing it. Because I was like, I'm so vibes based, and all of this is like so rubs me against the grain.
Right.
And not like it like made me annoyed or worried or anything. It was just like it was different, and I was like, no. That's not correct.
Yeah.
But it's like everything else in my life where I'm like, most of what I wear, like my husband went shopping with me more recently, and he was like, you're so freaking weird, because I go and I'm like, literally most of what I pick out has nothing to do with the look and has everything to do with what it feels like.
I need both.
And if I can get both, awesome.
I need comfortable and moddable, because what I want is never normal.
Right.
My clothing choices are weird, and I don't get to wear my handmade stuff much because I haven't made stuff recently. But
that's true.
I need to get that hoodie.
I just pick stuff like this. Feel this.
I know.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
Yeah.
But yes, my life is vibes based, and I have to, and I'm really good at like learning to go with the flow. I just have to learn what the flow is going to be.
Yeah. Well, like,
but we get to define that, so that's
a lot of what the shorts was. We developed a format that I'm changing completely, but it was because we did it that I know how it should go. Right. Like, you know when it clicks and you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
I have that.
Awesome.
In my head.
Good.
And we were also learning how to work with Randy on that like creative part.
Yeah. Well, and he went home and he was like, I need to just like watch how you guys do things for a little while and just like pick up on that. Because for him, like, he looks at us and he's just like, it's just chaos. And so we talked about it, and I was like, literally what I need, like, I don't need things to be like structured, like structured. Yeah, no. I need parameters so that I can run around and do chaos.
Yeah, we have to find the edges.
The parameters. Yeah, exactly. Just give me the outline and I will chaos in between.
Which is kind of why it works with him, because like he has like his like boundaries, and we're like, oh, I don't like that, but then we know that we don't like that.
Yeah.
So it like we narrowed it down quick.
Yeah.
A lot about this, but it was fun.
Indeed.
We had a fun day with it, and then lost all the progress.
But it's okay, because it'll be easier the next go round.
Oh, and we had raid weekend.
Yep.
Another bomb of a weekend. All the effort, no positivity.
Yeah.
Didn't even get week 1 done. There's there's tiers, right? There's day 1, and then week 1, and then you've done it. We almost got week 1 done. We were so close. And then everybody hated it by the end of it, and we didn't get it. And I messed up my knees really badly.
Yes.
Like, I can't get up anymore without really hurting myself. Just from sitting. You gotta love EDS.
Not good.
Mm-mm. I think there's bone spurs that are tearing up my tendons because that's what's true of all my joints.
Right.
And my knees have never been looked at, and it's going from this position to anything, something catches and it snaps, and then there's damage.
Yep.
So, and I can't not sit this way. This is my keeping my pressure, and
that's what drives me crazy when like PTs are like, oh, it's because of your posture, and you're like,
but I need it.
It bite me.
They're
like, well, you sit stupid, and you're like, well, you are stupid.
It serves a purpose.
I hate your face. Go away.
It's a way that we can keep our pots in order.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's comfortable for my joints.
Yep.
I know it's not good for my
It's so interesting because like it took us a while to learn that all these like weird instinct based things that we have been doing,
all the habits,
are like they come with a purpose. And a lot of it is like regulate your blood pressure.
Yeah.
Keep your keep yourself together so that you're not falling out the sides.
Yep.
So when I do the like double cross of my legs, we're holding it all together and keeping the blood
right
where it's supposed to be. It's great.
Yeah.
But there's a reason we're just
I really wanted the raid to go well. I'm so bummed. And it took out a lot of people.
Yes.
It wasn't just me, but like a lot of people.
Oh, and we didn't have internet yesterday.
Oh.
So my husband was really upset.
Poor Randy. He did the best out of anyone, I think. He really has his limits well measured.
Yeah. Well, now, like, he's much more aware of.
He's better than I am.
What is what?
Like, I way overdid it every day. And I don't know if I felt obligated to do it or if I was just not noticing it, but like he's like, oh, I'm fading. I'm like, okay. And he's done.
Kenny holds him a little bit accountable too, which is nice.
I should teach Kenny that I have problems, but I don't want to scare him away. I like him. If I was like, Kenny, I have problems. You need to father me too.
Father me. That sounds weird.
Hey, he's a dad.
He is a dad, but he's a dad like you.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
Yeah. Well, and it was so funny. My husband was like, I don't know why Kenny and I are like such good friends. And I was like, well, there's a lot of factors there. Because it was funny. He was like, I don't know, he likes to get high and we sit down and we have the weird conversations.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, because he was like asking me to like psychoanalyze people and then reasons why things. And I was like, well, first of all, like you have something in common right off the bat. And then you have that like safety of not being face to face. There's a huge, like, there's so much more you can do in a shorter amount of time when it comes to like opening up, because you feel safer behind the screen. And he was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
He's a good boy.
Yes.
Producer Randy.
Indeed.
Who's getting love in the comments too? Did you show him?
I don't. Maybe.
Crystal left him a comment. I'm not going to say it because I want him to see it.
Oh, I'll have to show him when he comes over. That's crazy. But yeah.
On to the fatigue.
Indeed. So we're going to talk about fatigue and why it's different from being tired.
I was going to say, this is so tiring.
Because people I talk to seem to think that this is like an issue of not getting enough sleep. Or maybe you sleep too much. Or your
it's just the meaning of the word has gotten away from itself.
Is bad.
Like,
or,
you say I'm fatigued, or like you fatigued a muscle. It's not. I don't know why it's become synonymous with tired.
Right.
Because it's not.
And at all.
There's no easy way to express it unless you've experienced it. Like, I've been tired. I know what it's like to have worked yourself out, like do work out so hard that you're exhausted.
Yeah.
But fatigue? What?
Well, it's like I said, it's the difference between like a migraine and a headache.
Yeah.
And nobody can understand what the difference between a migraine and a headache is until you've had a migraine.
Right. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give everybody watching fatigue. And then you can tell us what it's like in the
Wouldn't
comments.
That'd be nice if we could just gift people fatigue.
No.
Be great.
I think we'd go to jail.
Here you go.
They fatigued 161 people.
And I'm still tired.
They're not recovering.
Yeah. God. So what is fatigue like for you?
For me, fatigue's interesting because I think bipolar plays a part in it also.
Yeah.
Like, it used to keep me from being fatigued because I'd always be manic. I'd always have some manic energy from nowhere. Like, I don't know, media works. You just have energy. I wish I could
Fair.
bottle it up and like save it for later, but no. But it was more like once we started treating the bipolar disorder, that's when I started to notice how fatigued I was all the time, which was a lot of like I couldn't get up in the morning.
Yeah.
And not saying that I couldn't wake up. I would wake up for a second and then I'd move a tiny bit and fall asleep again.
Yep.
Trying to get up to do something.
Yeah.
It's not like I made a choice. My body did it. That makes sense?
Yeah. It's like being on it's like being on Benadryl.
Yeah.
Forever.
Forever. Yeah.
Like
a lot of
that
Benadryl.
that in between drowsy stage where you're like, I am so ungodly messed up and just like not there. I'm not present in my brain or my body. Nope. I am like, my limbs are heavy. Everything takes an ungodly amount of energy to accomplish. So like getting up and moving is awful.
I hate it when I get hit with fatigue while I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Like it'll strike me out of nowhere. I'll be doing something like if I'm doing chores and then suddenly I'm like, oh my God, like a wave hits you and you're just done. Yeah. And then you have to go from where you are to your bed. Yes. And that is an insanely hard task at that point because it requires moving, and moving is not your friend. It's not our friend to begin with. No. But imagine that all of a sudden all of your limbs are really heavy and you're barely staying awake. Yeah.
It's like being stuck in like thick mud.
Yeah.
It's like have you ever had those dreams where you're trying to run away but like the ground beneath you keeps giving out?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it feels like. Well, and like it gets to a point where, and I've said it I think before, but like I will have dreams about how exhausted I am. And like you get sucked into the dream and you can't get out of the dream, and you're aware that you're having the dream and you're aware that you need to be up and you can't.
The worst is when you're so tired you dream about sleeping. Yeah. And then you wake up and you think you're awake, but you're still dreaming and you're still tired. Yep. And you're like, I just want to wake up for real. Like, I know this is a dream. I want to wake up now and go do stuff.
Right. Yeah, well, and I remember like being a teenager even and having fatigue days.
Oh yeah.
Where like I'd have to have my parents call me in sick because I could not get up. And those were the days where I was like sleeping through the entire school day, really. Yeah. And then I'd get up like 4 p.m. and then go eat something and maybe be able to like move around a little before I was like, oh, okay, cool, it's time for bed again.
God, context is amazing. Yeah. For us, that was just normal. Yeah. Like, remember that was just, teenagers being teenagers.
Right. Well, or it was blamed on like, well, you shouldn't stay up all night doing blah, blah, blah. And we were like, but I wasn't, and I didn't. But I really cannot get out of this bed, and if you make me, I will cry. No, and it's like having your emotions like sliced through down the middle, and just everything is raw. Yeah. Everything is super raw and frayed at the ends, and like,
well, it's the same as when you're like in pain all the time, and then someone will say something that you just interpret a little off. Yeah. But it's like a big offense at that point. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Can't.
Just like frayed edges. It's not nice. And so you get irritable is one thing. And I remember before I was able to like really communicate what was going on with me, because I was tired. I was so tired all the time. And before I was able to communicate with my in-laws when we lived with them, it was such a big problem because they were like, okay, it's time to go out to dinner. And I was like, okay, but I can't. And I don't want to. And I'm tired. And that would turn into like, oh, it's ungrateful or something along that line where you're like, no, I really just I'm so tired.
Yeah, let's talk about that part of it. I don't think that gets mentioned enough. The effects that your fatigue has on other people. Yeah. Like the consequences of just having the fatigue. Right. I lost a lot of friendships because I would sleep through the day because I had to. Yeah. Like in my early 20s, I wouldn't go out and do things with people. They thought I hated them or that.
Yeah, or like we're flaky. Was the big one.
Right. Yeah. But it was just I have no energy to do this. Right. And I know I don't. And I was better at it back then, I think, because I didn't think of it as like being held back.
Right.
Like
it just was.
Now I'm being held back and it upsets me and I want to fight it. But back then I would just be like, no, I'm too tired. Yeah. And I thought it was depression, really. I mean, it was, but
oh my God, it's so closely linked too, because and literally every single meltdown I've ever had in my friggin' life comes back to being, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired and I can't do life anymore because nothing makes it better.
It's like a stuck point, but for physicality.
Yeah.
Like you get so tired that's when the meltdown happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly it. Is like I have a lot of bandwidth to like deal with a bunch of stuff, but when the fatigue hits, that shortens what I've got as far as like processing. And then every demand is so much worse because it takes so much effort to push through the fatigue to meet that demand. Even a conversation. Like I will get angry because I'm having a conversation.
Right. No.
Be like, you are making me think. And I'm mad about that. Because accessing the brain space is hard.
Right. Well, and you can't convey it either. That's why we're doing video, to help raise awareness. But there's no way to just tell people and have them get it right away.
Yeah.
Unless you've sat down and explained it, and you know what I mean? Like cover it beforehand, and then you could have like I'm actually fatigued today, and they go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you can't, you get the just take a nap.
Oh yeah.
You know, just sleep, maybe eat better. Or in your case, self-care.
You need better self-care.
That's what she was told when she was talking about her fatigue.
Yeah. So I went
your psych?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we had the last session of the pain group, which like I didn't get a whole lot out of. I got a lot of language out of it, but I didn't gain a lot of.
You did. You gained affirmation.
Yes.
Like, that's really what I took away too, was that what was already programmed into us was correct.
Yes. What we had already learned and taught ourselves and like gone through was, yes, good job. Well done.
Yeah, but it wasn't like breakthrough.
But then we had like a one-on-one session and I was trying to talk about how like, because I had a meltdown about being tired. Wow, shocker. Wow.
Yeah.
And was basically told that I wouldn't crash so hard at the end of the day if I did more self-care. And I was like, that's not even what we're talking about. That's not what I'm talking about.
No.
It's not that the crash, like, yes, in a way, because I was talking about like I give everything at work and then I come home and I'm shattered. So if I take my shoes off, that's it. End of day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. And then it was like, well, you should take more breaks. And I'm like, okay, but that doesn't help because the momentum is the only thing that gets me through in the first place.
And then she wants that to be a stuck point.
Yes.
That like
no, that was the question. It was like, does relaxing feel unsafe? And I was like, no, it doesn't feel unsafe. It's non-preferred.
Right.
Because like, if you have Ehlers-Danlos, you understand that if you don't maintain a certain amount of tension in your body, your joints all fall out and bad things happen. So when I relax, that's it. It's over. And if you ask me to get up again, I'm going to be angry.
Yeah. Well, like, here's an example. I took a nap, last Tuesday? It was the day before we did, last Friday. The day before summer and Luke came over. And I took a nap and I dislocated or sublexed.
Yeah.
They didn't fully come out. They just slid out to the point where they were yanking on everything. But my hips both slid out and wouldn't slide back in all the way. And then I was just in pain. And all I did was lay on my back. There was nothing, no special mechanics. I was just asleep on my back.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And I'm like, you really don't understand. Like, no amount of sleep hygiene is going to fix the fact that I have to wake up several times in the middle of the night to relocate things. No amount of sleep hygiene or self-care during the day is going to make sure that I don't have spasms at night.
Yeah.
Because the spasms happen when I relax my muscles.
Right.
Wow. It's just not, it's not the same thing. And then with chronic illness, I feel like we don't talk enough about why the fatigue has its place and where it's coming from. Because everything that we do takes at least twice as much effort as someone who is well. Yeah. And when you live your life like that, masking and pretending to be well or having to meet the standards of the well, you're working twice, if not more, as hard as normal people are. constantly.
I think it's a matter of load. Like if you think about everything as like you have a finite amount of energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're healthy, I'm using energy to walk.
Yes.
Okay. But if you're, if you have mental disorders and you're dealing with stuff, you're using energy to keep yourself in check.
Mm-hmm.
If your body's falling apart and you're in pain, that's on your brain. It's in the background, but it's on your brain.
Yeah.
And then you have to deal with like overthinking everything you do so that you don't hurt yourself or do something stupid on accident. So like you're using all this extra energy just to function.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like the extra steps where you can just walk or...
I said the stupidest thing. I don't know. You might appreciate this.
Maybe.
I told my husband yesterday because I was having spasms and like, we'll get there. Hold on. So I was having spasms and I was like, I really feel like I was like supposed to be an octopus and I just like got shoved into a human body and now all of my muscles are extremely confused.
Right.
Because all of my muscles want to move independent of one another. And there isn't just a like do a movement. It's a control this in order to then control again to do the movement. Mm-hmm. Like we have to keep everything in check and move everything appropriately. And then if you're worried about posture and form, that takes more energy. It is. It's about load. So there's that like physical fatigue aspect. And then the rest of it comes in this crazy wave of you're going to be unconscious now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
It's great fun. I love it. And I just don't understand why doctors don't understand.
I was watching a documentary a long time ago, maybe like 5 years ago or 6, about a lady who has chronic fatigue syndrome. Mm-hmm. And everyone said she was making it up. Everybody in the documentary, they were like, they're trying to put her in like a good light, but everyone they interviewed or anytime someone brought it up,
she's not trying hard enough.
Right. She's just in bed all the time. There's no reason for it.
Lazy's the big one.
It's like, it's not fun.
Right.
Like,
well, and that's the thing. I'm like,
exhausted is not a fun thing.
I don't understand the like big, oh, you must be faking or you're not trying hard enough angle, because nobody like wakes up and is like, I would like to be exhausted forever.
Right.
What? Like, that's not... And we're not getting anything out of it.
No. You lose your time. You lose people.
Well, yeah. And then the budgeting is crazy. Mm-hmm. And, like, I know I've talked about on the podcast before how I have to sacrifice closer friendships or the, like, possibility of closer friendships because I can't maintain that.
Right.
I can't maintain... Like, let's do stuff after work. Cannot. Nope.
Will not.
Like, I can't. I have to get in my hot car and get all potsy and drive home and then make dinner and then get ready for the next day.
Yeah.
And then do chores somewhere in there because I need another husband or another wife or something, according to my grandfather.
Yes.
Who's like, we need a wife. Yes.
Yeah.
Now taking applications. Just kidding. Please don't.
But Venmo. Do not forget to Venmo us
right,
$1,000.
Venmo the $1,000. Dooney is in trouble.
You okay, Dooney?
With Greg. Greg lent him a lot of money. It's not good. Craig's up here somewhere.
Yeah, he's right next to you.
Being ominous. But I just don't understand the like faking aspect. I watched... Did you see the one, there's like a Dr. Phil one of the woman who wasn't diagnosed, but it was like, she thought she had Ehlers-Danlos and POTS and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Older lady, little overweight, not bad, but like, basically the whole Dr. Phil show was everyone being like, you're not trying hard enough. You're being lazy and putting it off and like making excuses for yourself. And like, okay, sure, to a certain degree, yeah, if you give in to like feeling sorry for yourself, there is an aspect of like you fall into it and it's harder to maintain that like balance of living your life and being fatigued.
Yeah.
But like nobody wants to live like that.
No. Well, here's an example. Like I wasn't on Concerta till last year.
Yeah.
Which it lines up with the podcast. It's weird. This is kind of the point though, is that I tried to start projects or do things things that people like assume you're being lazy for, like
Yeah.
streaming and playing games and stuff,
Mhm.
like using my computer. I would
Like,
not
oh,
have
that's not
energy
even hard. Yeah.
to do that stuff. Like I tried to set up a Twitch. I mean, I had a Twitch. It was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I was treating the actual fatigue itself that I was normal again. And as soon as I was feeling normal, I was up and moving again.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know what I mean?
Sorry.
It wasn't like, oh, now I have energy, time to not do it.
Right.
It's like, no, I can do things again.
Yeah.
My want wasn't to be lazy. My want was to do anything.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things too where, like, for me, because I use pain medication as a rescue,
Yeah.
I noticed this huge difference in like how much brain space it takes up,
Mm-hmm.
like the pain, how much brain space the pain takes up
Yeah.
when I take a pain med. Because after I've taken a pain med, I'm like, oh, I can do my dishes.
Yeah.
And I can do the laundry and I can do all of these things that I've been putting off.
Yep.
And I'm like, I just took a pain med and I'm really productive because my brain is not weighed down by having to like sort through and deal with all of the pains.
Yeah.
There's so many facets to fatigue, and it's so hard to treat when people don't believe that it is there, and it's like a heavy blanket over everything.
What I wish we had which is something kind of like what we were doing in pain management before, where it was pain management was the physical and the emotional,
Mm-hmm.
but they could easily connect it to like treating the fatigue aspect of it, because that isn't just depression or just EDS.
Yeah.
If it's a combination of the both and you can treat it and make it go away,
Right.
it can improve the quality of life. I remember I brought it up to David originally, and he was like, "Are you sure it's not narcolepsy?" I was like,
I wondered for a while too, because I was like that, where I was having like, as soon as I didn't line it up with the heat,
mm-hmm.
but when I would go out for like a cigarette break
Right.
from work and I was in the hot car, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall asleep. I
Yeah.
need to like get out of here. But yeah, no, thought it was narcolepsy for a minute.
Mm-hmm. But could you imagine if that was treated, like instead of it just being a symptom of things,
Yeah.
being the condition of being fatigued?
Right. Well, and they won't treat mine because I'm using marijuana.
Oh yeah.
And I don't understand that like split where they're like, no, you can't have it because you're using something else to make sure that you're not using a lot of pain meds.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Cool. Thanks.
It's not like there's an interaction danger or...
No. It's the like, oh, well, are you sure that
Okay.
it's not the weed that's making you feel like that?
Right.
And you're like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Just shut up. There you go. Thanks.
Please and thank you.
Yeah. It's just irritating. And then I just fall into like that rut of like, they won't treat it, so I guess we're just gonna whatever.
Yeah. Because it takes energy to go out and try and get it solved.
Yeah.
Which is not easy.
Right. Well, and I wish that like there was a more holistic view of conditions like Ehlers-Danlos as
Yeah.
a whole, because they are so multifaceted and everything plays a role in everything.
Could you imagine if you went to the doctor like as an intake and you had EDS and then it asked you to like fill in what symptoms you have from it?
Yeah.
And that they kind of like catered to it?
Well, what I would love is like a monthly meeting with my doctor
Yeah.
or something like that, where I go in and they go, what's going on this month? Like, what is bothering you right now? And then that one doctor could take care of everything else.
Yeah.
But I suck and have been really like not with it recently. Because my life's been on fire.
I was gonna say,
It's always on fire.
it's not that you're being neglectful, it's you have a lot going on.
Yeah. And so I didn't get the shoulder surgery that I wanted over the summer.
Mhm.
My ankles are both shot. My left one is absolutely horrendous. Like, it's just awful. I hate it. And there's other things that I needed referrals for, and I have referrals on the books, but like I haven't been able to even get myself to call and make an appointment because I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't know when I'm gonna have time to do that.
Right.
And I used all of my leave at the very beginning of the year.
Yeah, but you needed it.
I really did. I don't know that I would have like made it even into October otherwise.
No, you're in danger zone area.
Yes.
Which is why I was like, no.
Yeah. Well, and when he
Stop.
says like bad news bears. I'm like, oh, okay, it must be bad. But yeah, no, I wish there was a more like multifaceted view of everything.
Yeah.
Where they could be like, okay, all of these things hold hands and play in the same sandbox.
Right.
They do. POTS causes fatigue. Pain causes fatigue. Mental illness causes fatigue. Like, all of these things play into each other and
make
like,
each other worse.
Oh, it's awful. And everyone's like, well, that shouldn't be causing you fatigue. And you're like, okay, but I have 700 other things going on right now also. Like, why are you looking at me like dislocations don't cause fatigue?
Also, people are gonna want to like blow it off, or
yeah,
you know, because it makes people uncomfortable when you have a condition.
Yeah.
So you know, you're like, I have all these conditions, and they're gonna be like, well, you know, you probably don't have all of those. You just went out and picked up a bunch,
right?
Even though they're all connected, like,
yeah,
it's all the same thing,
right? And it really is. It's all the same thing. It's just like, if you have that weird gene mutation, you get to take a bucket and scoop out some conditions, and then you've got EDS.
Well, and it changes too. Like, things will go away and new things will develop.
Yeah.
As you're growing up.
Well, like the movement disorder. You said that you've been having more of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not been fun.
Mm-mm.
Lots of twitching. And see, a lot of it was treated with whatever heart medication I was on. Because I used to have a lot of it before.
Oh, really? Yeah, because you said you stopped driving because of it, which I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, no, I was dangerous. I was jerking the wheel.
It's crazy.
Not like that. But I would swerve and stuff like that. There was one night I was driving to go do laundry when we were working at a hotel, and I hit the fucking center lane like hard, and I messed up my tire.
Oops.
And that was from a muscle twitch that I couldn't control. It wasn't like I could fight it. I didn't even know it was happening. So.
Oh, that made me crazy when she was like, "Are you sure they're not ticks?" Yes, I'm positive they're not ticks. Like, and I wish I could explain it better, but it's like, you know how a sneeze builds?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what it feels like when you're building up to having crazy spasms.
Right.
Is like you can feel the tension. It's like a spine shiver almost.
Right.
But it's slow.
Yeah.
And it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds.
That's what it feels like to fight a sneeze.
Yes.
When you don't sneeze, but you have the entire buildup.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you've wronged God and made a mistake when you don't sneeze.
Yeah.
That is a thing. At least for me. Like, I've done it.
You're oh my God,
I'm going to sneeze, and then I absolutely don't. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I've wronged somebody. What have I done?
Please forgive me for not sneezing. I am so sorry.
Exactly. Like,
I should have gotten the demons out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it does. It builds up until you can feel it.
It's like palpable, and you can just, ugh. And it gets thick, and then it explodes. And that, like, explosion is the release of all of these crazy movements.
Yeah.
And it's that same thing that, like, my muscles are hard to coordinate together. And so they don't coordinate together when they spasm. And so I have spasms everywhere.
Right.
All over, all at once. And I hate it.
It's bad.
I don't like it. And I also don't like not being able to use my fine motor skills. That's annoying.
A lot of things are annoying.
Yeah.
It comes with the condition.
Right.
Being annoyed as a side effect.
Being annoyed.
Because, well, one was irritable.
It's a symptom of EDS now.
Yeah.
Being annoyed.
Are you irritated? No, I'm annoyed. At what? Everything.
It's like when they're like, what do you feel about your pain? That was like the whole thing. Like, we just couldn't connect on that. We're just like, how do you feel about your pain? I'm like, I generally don't. And if I do, it's annoyed.
Yeah.
I feel annoyed. Like, I don't have time for this right now. I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
We don't have time to sit down and cry forever.
Not now.
Not now.
Someday in the future there will be time to do this, but not now.
One day we can cry forever.
One day. You get one day to cry forever.
One day to cry forever.
And so every year you get one day that you can cry forever, but then the next day you have to stop crying forever.
That's my yearly meltdown.
You get one.
See, but now when I cry, I'm good at managing my emotions. And like, I cry for like 4 minutes and then I'm fine.
I get this problem. Like, I'll need to cry, but I don't, and then it'll leak out everywhere. Like, think about it. Like, something will be bothering me, and I'll be really depressed or something, and I won't notice it. And then I'll go to laugh, and then I'll cry. No. I'll be like, ha, 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 why am I bawling my eyes out? Why do I feel so sad all of a sudden? Like, what is that from?
Yeah. See, I get tired, and then I'm weeping.
Right.
Because I need sleep forever, but fatigue is not just sleep at all.
I'm going back. Has no one done that? Does nobody laugh and then cry on accident? It happens to me a lot.
I yawn and then I cry.
Oh, yeah, that's...
And then sometimes when I'm crying, my body's like, oh, while you're here.
Let's do a real one. No more routine fake ones. Let's do a real cry.
Because, yes, when I yawn, I, like, full-on cry.
Okay, so maybe... I'm stuck on this.
He's going to cry now. Look at his eyeballs.
Oh, am I? I don't feel it.
Look at your eyes.
I was all sniffly. They are very watery.
Like... And then you went...
Wow. I don't want to cry right now. That would suck. But, like, it's like... I feel guilty when I laugh sometimes, and then I cry. Like, haha, and then I'm like, ooh, you're not supposed to laugh right now? Cry.
Okay, so it's not guilty, it's this right here.
Yeah.
That sensation. That's what I get.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I get the, like, tugging from my diaphragm almost, and it's the, like, yawn your lungs out sensation. Yes.
Yeah.
I get that. It's not a good one. I don't like that at all. Oh, and I've had, like, so... This one's when I go backward, it's retrocollis. The crazy spasms in the front are torticollis.
I mean, it's a cool name.
Torticollis. But it doesn't move me yet.
She hasn't been moved yet, folks.
But it hurts like hail. Yeah. And it feels like my body is trying to strangle me.
Sorry.
And I don't like it. Stupid. Should we take a break?
Yeah, we can take a break.
Okay. All right, friends. What do they need to do?
Let's start with drinking water.
Yes.
Hydrate or dihydrate.
Do the hydration part.
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Yeah. Have a snack, because you are a snack.
It's true. Take your meds if you haven't yet.
Yep.
Always remember, take your meds.
Take a break or plan one in. Coming up.
That's the good way to put it. We should word it that way from now on. Take a break or plan one.
Yeah, plan one in. Make sure that, like, between tasks you can take a little breather.
Yeah, pacing is okay.
Yeah. See, I do pace. God.
She does. She's gotten better. And then maybe go outside.
Yeah, see some nice sunlight. Maybe it's hot, but sun for a minute won't hurt you.
And do something for yourself.
Yes.
Be nice to yourself.
Yes. And also. Check out the Discord. Leave us a like, share our video, and subscribe. It burns us. It freezes.
It does. I hate chilling.
We weren't meant for it. I love you, though.
It's okay.
And
real
I'm
quick.
glad you're here.
Do this for us. We can't chill because it feels wrong, but we want to share this with people. So if you can, hand it out like candy.
There you go. That's a good way to put it. Give it a share. Share it in the groups. Into Facebook.
Even if you hate it, we need more hate comments.
He'll cry. I legitimately
will.
Cry.
Don't give. If
and then I'll have to go fight somebody.
Yeah, my little sister will beat you up.
Yeah. I have no fear.
And on that note.
All right, friends. We'll see you in a minute. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fantastic Pains now has merch. I know we've been promising it for a while, but it is here. You can find our stuff at fantastic-pains.creator-spring.com. We have t-shirts, hoodies, leggings, wine coolers, I guess you can call them, and my very favorite backpack. So take a minute, go check us out. I am sad.
Welcome back. How was your break? She just said that she's sad. That's not good.
Did you do the things?
That wasn't even really to get her. I just really wanted to get it over with. We have to start to stop.
We had to take a very long break.
I'm tired. I'm fatigued.
Yeah.
I have brain fog.
Yeah.
I have coffee.
I did do that. Not totally useless.
No, not even remotely useless. Nah. So yeah, to go along with our first half, second half, we were going to talk about brain fog.
Yes, that thing that is overwhelming everyone forever.
Yes.
The reason I stutter a lot.
The reason I just blank out all the time. That's my favorite. Hey, could you just...
Your brain gives up on words. It's like, I don't even know what I was trying to ask you.
Well, and what's worse is if you haven't had your ADD medication, after 2 seconds of the silence, your brain's like, this is a big room.
Potatoes.
And you're like, we're trying to remember what I just said. Yeah, dinner does sound
like
good.
Walking into rooms. Like, I'll just walk into a room and be like, I know that I'm in here for a reason. But now I'm like, no idea. Mm-hmm. No clue.
It's just fish tank gravel up there.
Indeed. Yeah. Phew. Don't know why I'm here.
We know why, though. We did some research.
We did.
So that you don't have to.
Right? There you go. In case you wanted to know. So our first half, when we were talking about fatigue, the internet was a little bit confused and was like, you should eat better and sleep better. And we were like, no.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. If that's what fixes it, then it's not the EDS causing it.
Yep.
Those are things to try. They're not bad ideas.
Right.
By any stretch. But, like, they're not going to fix it if that's actually the cause.
Right. Like, but what we did find when we were looking at brain fog, we got this, much like fatigue, they think that it is caused by a lack of oxygen in the brain due to blood pooling, which we know blood pooling from POTS. So
it all comes back together.
Fatigue, brain fog, and POTS all hold hands.
Yeah, they get together and have a party.
Skip around my brain and body.
No, your feet.
My feet?
Because they pool.
Oh.
They got to go to the blood pool. And that's all at the bottom.
Where the blood goes. So, yeah, with POTS, as we know or may not know, sorry, brain shut off. So,
that's exactly it.
That's brain fog. Hi.
Good example.
I'm like, I don't know where I am anymore. I just appeared out of nowhere.
Oh, I shook the camera.
Oh God. Oh no. The tragedy.
It's a travesty.
No. Blood pooling. This is going to be great. Are you ready? Yeah, blood pooling. So with POTS, generally your blood volume is poor because we are constantly dehydrated. And not only that, our blood pools because there's a lot of different factors. So one is mast cell activation, which can release mediators that cause vasodilation, which means that all of your...
Fancy way of saying that you swell up.
Well, and your veins get bigger
yeah.
and let more blood down. And so it's harder for your heart to get it back up.
Yes.
Yeah. Fun time.
Which is why you want to cross your legs all the time or sit on your feet or...
Right? Or like your leg comes up here like I have it and it just stays there.
Yeah. That's just your body doing what it needs to do.
Right? It's so interesting to see like the things that we already adapted.
Yeah.
That now have reason.
I shook the camera again.
I mean, they have reason, but it was hard for us to like discover that reason.
Yeah,
nobody talks about it.
Weird.
Right?
Weird childhood stuff.
Yeah. Well, we were yelled at for sitting however we sat for a long time. Well. Like, stop sitting that way. You're going to blah, 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 blah. And you know what? We did. We did. Blah, 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 blah.
Urgent news. Breaking news.
Yes.
My butt's cold. It's from the AC. We're sitting right over it.
I was like, how?
It's like,
how?
I sat up and was like, oh, that's chilly.
How?
Okay.
How? Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Did we talk about we had to take a much longer break and now we're back in the evening, same day.
It's been...
But we are a little vacant.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 hour break. Normally our breaks are like an hour at most.
At the very most.
If like we have people over.
Right.
When we're doing guest episodes.
This is a lot. So we're back and we're trying to find our place and we're all tired.
It's been a long day.
Very sleepy now.
I didn't get much sleep.
He doesn't like to sleep.
It's not true. I love to sleep.
Sleep doesn't believe in him.
That's the one. My body doesn't allow it. It's like, hey, now you're in pain and you're awake and you're manic. And I'm like, what? You can't hit me with all the things. It's nighttime.
Awake, pain, mania.
Yeah, dislocations left and right, and then the manic energy comes on, and I'm like trying to sleep, and everyone's.
How do you explain to like your doctors when you're talking about like brain fog and fatigue and POTS in general and like all of the contributing factors? How does that work? Because we talked earlier about like I wish there was a whole person view.
Yeah.
And there are some doctors who are a little more like whole person, but even then, it's so slow.
Well, yeah, and the only times I've ever had to bring it up are like when I meet my new primary.
Oh yeah.
Like David doesn't really handle it. I mean, I've said that the brain fog has gotten better, and he was like, "Yeah, that makes sense," because I've been on really Concerta. But
yeah,
really, I've only had to explain it to new primaries, and it's they don't really care.
No, every time I bring it up, they're like, "Oh, well, you're on these medications that can make you sleepy.
Right.
Let's mess with those." And I'm like, "That's not it."
Right.
Good
If I
try, though.
take nothing, I'm exhausted.
Yes.
So that's my baseline.
It would be the same result, especially because like the meds that make you sleepy, we've been on for so long that we have fully adapted to that, and it doesn't have any effect whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's sleep.
Yeah. When people are like, gabapentin makes you sleepy, you're like, are you what?
It used to, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, I was gonna say for like 4 or 5 days max.
Right.
Like your body's just like, oh yeah, we got it now. It's fine. We figured it out. What a matter.
It tastes weird.
Is it because it's warm?
No, I usually drink it more. It just tastes a little weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. My
They're
palate's
newish.
been off.
Oh.
I'm not sick though. I noticed. Like Frosted Flakes don't taste like they should. Side note, but they don't. It's off. My palate's off.
Huh. Interesting.
It could just be a side effect of medications.
Everything could be a side effect of medication.
Right. But as far as like describing it, all I had to say was that I get really extreme fatigue and lots of brain fog, and they get it. Or like I said, they don't care. Like they're like, it doesn't matter. It's not something I can help you with. Like, okay,
great, thank you.
wonderful,
cool.
I'm just gonna be over here and be confused. What are you gonna do about it?
It's awful though. Like you feel like you could die from the tired. It is that bad.
Yeah,
it's almost painful to have your whole body reject being awake.
Frustrating too.
Yes, there's a huge like aspect of frustration when it comes to like, especially the brain fog. When you know you're like quick and witty and you know you've got it and you can't.
Right. Well, like a great example of that. I get online at night because that's when everyone gets on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk like past 10.
Yeah.
At night, and I'm already spent by then because I get up with kids at 7, so it's like super late. I can't articulate, and I sit down and I'm like, let's do it. Let's have the fun.
Ta-da.
Oh, boy, howdy. And everyone's like, wow, Chris, you're
enthusiastic.
real smart, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a smart cookie.
Very smart. Well, that's annoying. Gifted kid annoying. Grr.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I know this. I know this. What the heck? Or the memory stuff is the most frustrating for me, especially at my job.
Oh, yeah.
That is huge, and it sucks, and I hate it, and I wish I could remember stuff, but I literally, like, outside of context, my brain's like, no, there is no file found. Sorry.
Depends on what it is. I have a weird memory.
You actually have a really good
memory. If I meet somebody at a party one time and they tell me something, I'm going to remember their name and them and the thing they said. And then when I see them in 5 years, I'll check up on them. It's happened many times. Vizzy's one of them. I met Vizzy once.
Yeah.
At a party, and then saw them again like 3 years later and was like, oh, how'd that thing go?
Wow.
Like, yeah, I remember. But you give me any like facts, it's not gonna stick.
I remember dumb stuff, like really stupid stuff, and then nothing else. It's all just memes.
Yeah.
And like it's like my brain tries to entertain itself to make up for not being asleep. It's like, okay, we have to be awake.
Yeah.
So let's make this like tolerable somehow.
Fair.
And then it discards everything else. It just puts it in a box to be sorted later. And then people are like, remember that conversation we had? And I'm like, I don't know if I know you. Hello. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm lost. And then they start talking about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, the situation, and then I can recall. But, like, people are like, remember the thing? No.
Unprompted memory doesn't exist.
No. Outside of context, gone.
Right.
Just impossible.
As soon as they mention things, though, you're like, oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I just couldn't bring it up.
Yeah. File not found. It's just, it's in the laundry basket somewhere. Look in the junk drawer.
As an interesting note, though, since we've been doing this all day.
Yes.
You can see a very clear before and after.
Oh, yeah.
Like
From our
morning
belligerence to
it's
this. And honestly, I'm doing that thing where, like, blinking, I'm having a hard time reopening my eyes.
Oh, I hate that.
So I'm starting to feel a little bit like I'm like gonna be delirious next. I know it's happening and I know where I am, but like
I might be delirious.
Also, I think the pressure changed because my sinuses shifted and I can't breathe anymore.
Yeah,
I can't breathe anymore, and I have a lot of pressure here. So,
well then, so weather is out to get us, and it's been a long day.
Also, like, side note, talking to doctors about like the everything.
Yeah.
I'm so frustrated because, okay, first of all, I take responsibility for not being on top of my stuff because I had to be on top of other stuff. But now I'm like, where do I start?
Right.
Where do I start? Who do I get in contact with? How many appointments is it going to take to get anything done? And then I'm overwhelmed and I'm tired and like the fatigue hits and I'm like, I can't do any of it. Can't do it. Don't know how.
Yep.
It's too much.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. It's like answering emails.
What's worse is
like,
when Jen tries to help because she'll forget about it too. So like she'll be like, oh, I scheduled that. And I was like, oh yeah, when is it? And she'll be like, oh, that was last week.
Oh no.
I'll be like, oh shit.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Missing appointments. Oh, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I cried after I missed my first appointment with ortho.
Yeah. Well, that was a timing thing too.
Yeah.
Like, if you would have gotten in early.
Yeah. Because they pushed it out way late after that. And then my life was on fire because it's always on fire because I live in hell.
No, Colorado, but I mean,
close enough.
We're not China. We're not burning up.
We're not Texas.
I grew up in a Texas adjacent area. I know what that's like.
In the desert.
The dessert. Yes.
There's nothing dessert-like about the desert.
No.
It's full of sand.
It's coarse and I can't not.
That's why I do.
I'm like on reflex too. I'm so tired that everything's just a reflex. So like, there's no filter.
That was me earlier. Randy would say something and I would like respond with some kind of stim where I was just like, here's the other half of a thought that I had that was random. Poof. And then it's confusing for everyone.
That could be the best part though. When like you have like a weird thought and you're like, you know what? I'm going to say this thing. And if I get judged, who cares?
Oh, well.
And then you say it and people
Your
are like,
inhibition
wow.
disappears.
Yeah. Good point. You're like, I guess it was a good point. Shit.
Right. Well, and this is like the stage where I get angry at people for like requiring things of me. So like demand, horrible. I'm like, don't ask me to do anything right now because I might A, cry, B, bite your head off, C, just fully shut down.
Or all of those at the same time.
Yes.
She's going to bite your head off, cry, and then shut down. Yep.
That's actually, yeah. That's how that happens.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, hey, think about a thing for... No. There's no brain space. There is only death and TikTok. That's it.
The only things guaranteed in life.
Death and TikTok.
Death and TikTok. God, I'm tired. We still have to tough out another like hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of this for you people. This is not
ingrates.
Well. We love you. Don't listen to her.
No, don't listen to me. I'm not a reliable source. I'm definitely not a mortician.
Oh yeah, no.
No morticians.
There's
here.
a fun game about that though.
A game about
being a mortician.
Oh yeah. You were telling me about that.
It's really good.
I just got really nauseous.
Me too. Like,
all at once.
I threw up in my mouth about a minute ago.
Oh no.
We are trash fires at this point. It's the end of the day.
Oh yes.
The only other time we've recorded this late, we were both still functioning.
Yes.
Like, because you came from work.
Straight from work.
And I did set up and caffeinated heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
But we've never tried recording after being exhausted.
Yeah.
So, you know, you live, you learn.
There's like a 5 p.m. cutoff for everything.
The lives are more coherent than this. Jeez.
What?
The lives are more coherent.
I know. But we don't exist right now. We're floating in the ether and speaking nonsense.
Also, to be fair,
coming out in real life.
We have recently recorded.
Yes.
Only 3 days ago.
Yes.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday. Yeah. And before that, we recorded. So we're just kind of burned out. Bodies can't handle effort.
No. We're at the end of our ropes here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little crazy, but like you said,
mm-hmm.
You can see the before and the after because this is brain fog and fatigue. Welcome.
Oh God, it's so bad.
I live in hell.
Well, and it's so hard to not be mean to people.
I know. You're like, I love you, but please, for the love of God, get away from me before I harm you.
Mm-hmm. You're in danger, not because you did anything.
Yeah.
My body is just not doing real well.
Yeah. Well, and then people want to take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's hard because you're like, it's really not about you, I promise. It's really just that I don't feel good. I'm angry about existing.
Yeah.
I'm awake for some reason. Just inexplicable reason. I don't want food. I'm nauseous.
You and Randy can go home, and then I'll just record and live stream me sleeping on the couch. And then we'll play that back at full speed. Good to go.
Well, if we record you sleeping on the couch, that's got to go for the Patreon.
Oh.
They get to pay to watch us break down. That's horrible.
It really is.
You get to watch us at our very worst.
What's worse is that I in my head I was like, I wonder what the market for that would be, because it's probably bigger than we both think.
Yeah, probably. If I was like, let's go home and film my spasms.
Right?
Let's fucking not. I don't like
for science.
That.
We're doing it for science.
If it's for science, I guess I could get on board. But
mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Blah.
So, brain fog sucks. Fatigue sucks. POTS cause. EDS also.
Yep.
And we didn't even get into the other part.
There's one piece that I wanted to note because I don't know, I think it was like a paper that I was sifting through at one point that was talking about how Ehlers-Danlos and our medication processing and like anesthesia is because of our tissues that have a hard time like absorbing, transporting, and processing junk.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Which is why like they inject it and it stays exactly there and doesn't do a lot. And then is not absorbed or dealt with or
Right.
So because of our like weird stretchy tissue, there's something to that. I'll have to find what it was.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see because while it's not like a marker, it's a well-known thing that we deal with anesthesia differently.
Welcome to the condition where everything is well known, but nothing is official.
Yes. They'd have to listen to patients in order to
someone would have to put together a study and then peer review and then effort. Who's going to do it? Someone with EDS? Because they don't have the energy for it.
Absolutely not.
You got to con one of them well-being people.
Yeah, no. I'll participate, but you have to like call and remind me repeatedly.
Harass us.
And then come to my house. That's it. That's all there is. Oh, also, if you give me a pain scale, it's 4 or 7. That's it. That's all there is.
And you think that's binary, but it really isn't. There's a 4, and then there's 4. And then there's, I'm a 4. And then there's 7. And then there's
7. Yeah, 7. Ooh.
Yeah.
You're like, it might be more, but I don't want to say that because then you think I'm dramatic and then you stop listening to me.
Right.
Yeah. Good job. Listen to your patients. Listen to your children. Sorry. That's it. That's all I got.
We could probably call it early.
Yes, I think it is time because otherwise it's just going to turn into like nonsense and I'm going to start falling asleep right
You're
where
going to
I'm
fall
at.
asleep and I'm just going to go on like random ADHD tangents.
It'd be hilarious though.
Just talking to you while you're asleep and being mad.
Well, and then I could talk back in my sleep and we could have...
Oh, true.
There you go. I don't know.
There's the paywall content.
Great.
Interviews with an narcoleptic.
That's how it feels sometimes. Like, I'll be driving and then it hits me like this.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I start slurring my words because I'm sure I'm going to pick this up later and be like, oh my God, what was she trying to say? I start slurring my words. I start not making so much sense. And then my blinks get longer and longer. And then I'm very, very sleepy.
It happens to me all the time when I'm trying to do stuff with people. Yeah. Like online or in person. I'm like, oh no, the fatigue hit. And I gotta go now. You guys don't understand. I'm going to be unconscious.
Yeah, huh? And then the best part is when you lay down.
You're wide awake.
And then you feel fine because there's blood in your head again.
Yep.
And then you're like, I feel fine. And then you get up to go do stuff. And then we're right back to the start.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go not to bed.
She's going to go lay down in bed, but not sleep.
And then be angry about it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Paywall content.
Paywall content. We'll get back to you with that paywall content.
It's all feet. EDS is just feet.
Fair.
Only feet. TikTok and death. Yeah. I'm so nauseous. Oh my God. Okay, my loves. We're going to call it here because it's time.
Trash pandas are dying.
Yeah.
Also, we're trash pandas now, not zebras.
Yes, we've decided.
And trash pandas are raccoons, if you didn't know that. Some people don't know that.
Telling me not to call them raccoons. And
they're not. They're trash pandas.
Raccoon. It's a raccoon.
You can call them trash bandits. That's another one.
Bandits, yeah.
But no. Anyways.
Little masked guys. They wash their hands. I love it. It's the best.
Ready for surgery. They gotta clean their hands.
We're gonna be operated on by a pack of wild raccoons.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Stay tuned.
After that.
Okay. All right. We're starting to get into like nonsense. All right. We love you. And we appreciate you. And thanks for coming along. I hope this at least gave you kind of
perspective
on what it looks like.
Maybe you can empathize hard enough.
Yeah, right. We are working on some Wednesday content.
Yeah.
And there's good things in the works. So stay tuned. And until next time, unless you had anything to add. Sweet. Good deal. Until next time, my loves, be kind to you, be kind to others, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Peace.